Sean's over at the big screen. Give us a rundown, Sean, as far as moving averages and VWAP goes.
Great, thank you, Brendan. And yeah, you hit the nail right on the head there. Indicators, look, we use them on the show all the time. We just talked about Neil's trade of the day there, using VWAP, using moving averages, looking at different things. And you know, the very, very basic one, I think Brendan might have hit the nail on the head. We need to use a series because there are so many indicators that a trader could use, and a lot of them are going to be specific based on your trading style, right? It doesn't matter what I'm looking at or what Brendan looks at. You got to have faith in what you're looking at. And with a lot of these kind of chart patterns and setups, it's taken us, you know, many, many years. Neil never likes me to say it, but 17, 18 years of trading and looking at some of these patterns, guys, as I see Neil shaking his head. I hope I'm out of that Boeing trade, by the way. As you guys can see, we are looking at a simple moving average right now. And Brendan talked about, let's get a little bit of education as far as moving averages are concerned. For a simple moving average, it's exactly that. All it does is just take the high, the open, the low, or the close. For this example, we actually took the close of the candle. So if you have, for example, a this is a 1 minute moving average, all it does is sum up the close of the last 15 data points and give you one data point plotted. And what we do use is a line for that, right? To give us a very, very smooth indicator of what is to come. So this is a 1 minute, I'll just move over here. You can see up here a 1 minute chart on J&J. And as you can see, as the volume moves through, the moving average is very, very tight to the current price. If you're using a 1 minute moving average, that is more for if you are a scalper, if you are just looking to quickly go in and out. So it wouldn't be used to possibly capture $3 or $4 move down, because a lot of the time you do get some little chops in here, moving averages, right? So what you're looking for is just quick scalps in and out, and you say, you know what, if I'm just trying to make 10, 20, 30 pennies, quick lightning trades, use a 1 minute. Nikki, if we can throw over to a 15 minute now, that'd be great. Perfect, thank you very much. So the exact same chart broken down now into a 15 minute period. As you can see, it allows you to possibly wait for this break to happen down here at 127. And if you ride the moving averages all the way up, and again, a 15 minute moving average means 15 periods. So it's gonna take the calculation of every single one of these closes and plot a little line on there. And what that's gonna do is give you the ability, look at this. This one gives you the ability to hold it all the way up for about $1.50, $1.80 winner there. You wait until it breaks. But like Brendan said there is no trade here unless you know what you're looking for. A simple moving average won't tell you buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here. Look at how choppy this is right here. If you're going to buy when it breaks upside, then where do you get out, right? There's no downside there. So a 15 period, unlike a 1 minute, this will give you a much broader look at a stock if you're looking to hold something. And Neil, you don't see this, but Neil and I have many charts loaded. When we're looking at stocks, we're just showing you the 1 minute, the 3 minute on the chart. But to hold and to get some broader looks, we're definitely using moving averages extended out on period basis.
So again, to reiterate the point here, guys, everything you're seeing on a chart, we mentioned this back on Friday, everything you're seeing on a chart obviously already happened. It's in the past. It's just a data point from the past that's being plotted as a visual aid to you. So if you think of indicators along those lines, they're a little bit easier to understand. That, as Sean was just mentioning, you know, a few data points amalgamated into one visual aspect. So think of, you know, moving average along those lines. So a great tool to use to confirm an idea or confirm price action, but actually taking a trade based off of what is happening is not going to work out that way. So Sean, in your opinion, what is the best way to use a moving average?
Hey guys, yeah, no, the best way to moving average, like we talked about already before, is you need some kind of a setup. This is the stuff that I eat on every single day. You can see guys waiting for something to happen. You see me taking Starbucks, taking Boeing, Baba, things like that, and we're actually waiting for situations like this. This is a 1 minute with just a simple moving average on here, right? You get a big move down in J&J, and you can see this is just at 1 o'clock. This is just in the middle of the day. There's nothing happening right here, but you do get a move down, and then this is the kind of stuff we're looking at, a big flush. Look at this. this 1 minute candle down, down again. Then when you come back up, you actually get confirmation. Normally, we don't like to trade this. Let's see what happens in this area. But look at this. You get a moving average break to the upside right here on J&J. So you get a technical move in a chart. This goes to Neil. We're talking about candlesticks here. Down, down, down. A cover up of this bar right here, right? Closing here, opening. Big move up, taking out this bar, then breaking through the 1 minute simple moving average, guys. You could take this trade with confidence knowing that your out would be somewhere down here. But then look what happens. You say, Sean, where do I get out, right? If you're in scout mode, which I kind of suggest at 1 to 2 o'clock, you don't have to get out until the bar closes below the 1 minute moving average. So as you see, this allows you to get long here roughly, and I'll switch sides so we can see the price. You're getting wrong roughly at about 78, 79. And look, this is the first close of a bar below the 1 minute moving average. So if you're just going to talk briefly about strategies, guys, and you're in TMS, you're looking to read charts maybe for the first time, this rides the moving average all the way up. You almost get out right here, guys, but it doesn't close there. It makes a higher high, so it closes right there. The closing happens up here. That's 127.98. That's about a 20, 25, 30 penny winner right there, Brendan. So depending on how you trade this, you actually even have more. But again, if you're following the chart, you don't have to worry. So to answer Brendan's question there, I don't use simple moving averages alone. You need to use them in combination with similar breaks and similar trading on a chart moves that you like. So simple moving averages, although they're obviously not complicated, hence the name, they can be used both for scalping, if you're going to throw a 1 minute, or if you put a 15 minute up on this, you'll see the chart open up. So again, play it based on momentum and play it based on time frame.
Yeah, great points. Obviously, just reiterating the point, guys, you need to have multiple different signals, multiple different visual cues, and then use an indicator to help support your thesis. Because at the end of the day, all we're doing is using what has happened in the past and projecting it on what could happen potentially moving forward. So let's move on and talk about one of the most widely used indicators. And that is simply because it's tied directly to volume. That's VWAP, obviously. You hear Neil talk about VWAP all the time. A lot of traders on the floor here using VWAP. VWAP obviously tied to volume. So that's what makes it so key here. We want to see where the volume is going off, where there are sellers, where there are buyers, and where the most volume is being done. And that is what VWAP is going to show you. So let's talk a little bit about VWAP and how VWAP is plotted on a chart.
Yeah, guys, unlike simple moving average, VWAP a little more complicated. And guess what? It's my favorite indicator, and there it is. Yes, thank you, Neil, for that. We just strategically timed that. Good job there. But yeah, so what simple moving average does not take into consideration, of course, is one variable that you see talked about for the first time here, volume, right? And why we look at volume, because we are looking for those big block trades. We are trying to find out, does the opening price affect the range of the stock so much? Where was that institutional order coming through, right? A lot of it won't, simple moving averages is just going to take the close or the high, low, open of that particular bar, right? VWAP, not that case at all. As you can see here, VWAP is calculated by calculating the sum of the price multiplied by volume divided by the sum of the volume. So this is this is all calculated behind the scenes. You don't need to worry about it, but I think just mathematically very, very easy to see that volume now becomes the denominator. You like that grade 3 math teacher? And you can see that that makes a big effect. If we can flip to the next chart, VWAP, a very, very, wow, look at this. Nikki is just on fire here. If we look here on the opening here, you can see VWAP way out of line here because you do get big prints coming. But as things sort of start to settle down, this is again J&J. We're talking about moving stocks. This one was moving a lot last week. Big move off the open, right? You see down here 10:15. So now this is just a 3 minute chart. So it's calculating VWAP. So we have probably 3 minutes and a 10-15. You have about 15 or so volume VWAP points, so it starts to settle down. Once you get a VWAP break, again, this VWAP break, not so good, but look what happens after that. Again, you get the setup, right? This is what we're talking about. We don't use moving average indicators, and that's what VWAP is. It's taking into consideration all these data points. You see, it doesn't break, but once it breaks right here, you are also below VWAP at this point. This is a great trade to take. When you're looking at a 3-minute chart, you can see VWAP is well away from the price, because as the time gets going, you're seeing big volume spikes here at the open, affecting where VWAP is. So effectively, when you get big breaks, especially on a 3-minute chart, it tends to show you where the current trend is based on big boys, big institutions buying or selling. So VWAP, very important indicator. I use it all the time on 3 minutes.
Great way to not only confirm trend, confirm what you are thinking. Again, we're using that same term, right? Confirmation of trend. Confirmation of relative strength, relative weakness. You know, if you're looking at an individual stock and it's trading above its VWAP price, and then on the same monitor you have maybe a chart of the overall market, the futures, and the futures are trading below their VWAP price, then that's an indication that your stock that you're looking at is relatively strong. So Sean, what is the best way in your opinion to not only visually plot VWAP on a chart, but how can we use it to assist us a little more?
So guys, you can Google VWAP, you can find out how to use it properly. The big thing that you will always come up to is institutional buyers. They like to use VWAP to have least impact on the stock, least market impact on the stock. When trades, especially here, we call up the futures. When we are below VWAP, institutions come in and buy and average into their position, because they could be long somewhere up here. So when you get below VWAP, they tend to buy, pushing their average price closer to VWAP for the day. So they can come in, close their books at the end of the day, and hopefully be above or below VWAP. Big institutions coming in and doing that. You'll see the same thing when you're too much above VWAP. And again, as you see here, this is a 30 minutes, right? So the more you extend it out, the closer you're gonna see these trades coming to VWAP, especially on the futures. They try to sell back into VWAP, pushing their stocks and their prices back into an average spot. So what we like to do trading, and this was the question asked by Brendan, is when you get a violent VWAP break. So you can see here in the futures, this happened again. This is an overnight chart. You see a busting to the upside, breaking VWAP on the 30. Now the trend has completely changed. So a rising VWAP shows you trend is obviously in an upward momentum state, right? So right here, you have a break of VWAP, the trend continues to be higher. Look what happens down here. VWAP, although still coming negative a little bit here, the trend still seems to be higher. Once you get a downward move now, you can see the slope here in VWAP coming down, continuing to push down, signaling now the futures in a downward momentum. So this is the kind of stuff that we look to. If you're a trend trader, you always want to look to see, and again, break it up. I mean, this is a 30-minute. This is why we suggest looking at 2-3 charts at once per symbol. In this situation, it's the futures. You want to see where we are in a trending market and use VWAP breaks to possibly signal you in or out of a position. Like if you're long here off a VWAP break, you might even be long the futures here. This is scary because you possibly get out on that. But look at the trend just continuing you up. This is giving you like 50 handles to the upside. When it finally breaks, is more about in here. You probably don't take the long, or the short. If you do, you get out. But look at this break, guys. VWAP break doesn't even come back. So right there, that's 15 handles in the money. Let's take a quick look. I think Emma's going to be ready. Let's run the video here of Neil actually taking, I believe this from Friday, a trade off a VWAP break.
There's Dell just broke downside, so 52 even broke. The last trade when you go long in front of VWAP is going to be a loser, but we just reversed to the short side. Short 51.89 already in the money. Let's take the quick scalp if we can get it sitting on the bit. Give me 35 cents. I want it. You'll love this. You win a couple times in the long, small win on the third long. Now we're going to get a nice little win here. If we can get one tick down, boom, there we go. Dell catapulting us into success. Now my number 2 stock on the day after Alta.
Exactly. Great job there, Neil. We talked about that. Look, moving right into the number 2 stock of the day on one trade there, you do get a quick VWAP break. This is still my old chart, but you get the quick VWAP break there. We trade them all of the time on the show. This is why you see me switch from a 1-minute chart. I love looking at the 1 minute if we're talking about 9:30 to 10, but as soon as 10 o'clock breaks around 10:15 and we start to get more of those plotted points, guys. I believe that was a 3-minute VWAP break for Neil there. So as the day goes on, we look more and more to different time frames. We love it when VWAP breaks because, as you can see, generally speaking, VWAP won't be so tight to the market. You got to wait for certain events to happen. When we get those triggers, it's boom goes the dynamite to the upside. Look, this has been super fun. I could honestly talk more and more and more as Brendan's sitting there laughing, but I would love to do even more work on VWAP. We will be coming with more indicators. There's Bollinger Bands, there's relative strength. These are just some basic ideas that we have on volume weighted average price as well as simple moving averages, all easy to upload and to use on our P Pro 8 charts, guys. I suggest you put them on if you haven't yet, and I'll throw it back to Brendan. That's Trader's Edge.
Yeah, great information there. Just seeing Daniel just making a comment regarding the fact that, you know, VWAP doesn't change regardless of what time frame you're looking at, and that's absolutely correct, because regardless of the time frame, the price action is still being displayed in the same manner. So one thing I want to talk about at some point on the show is volume profile. Volume profile takes volume from a time-based period and projects it instead on the right-hand side of your chart on a price-based period. So per price, how much volume is going off, which is more along the lines of VWAP. So as we said, guys, this is going to be a series of these segments because there's just so much information on indicators and how we can use indicators to assist us with our trading and use them as more of a confirmation bias for trading ideas that are coming from other places. But that is Trader's Edge for Tuesday morning, guys. Let's send it back over to the desk.